Hi, this is Maggie. I just wanted to offer my condolences to everyone affected by the school shootings in this country, in the US. We've just had so many school shootings with assault rifles, and this one, I think everyone is just finally, the whole country is grieving right now. The whole country is grieving right now, and I don't want to be morbid and do a chart on the school shootings. It's too soon, and I really, that's not my intention. My intention is to talk in a general way about, just about the some of the planets and some of the outer planets and aspects that are affecting our country, affecting our government, specifically the U.S. Pluto is a culprit. Definitely, Pluto has been in Capricorn, and there are some positives to this, so I will try to get to that. But Pluto and Saturn in the government, in the midheaven represents our government and authority, and the Pluto in this case is just causing enormous destruction. And I will have to talk just in a general way. Mars in Sagittarius represents education. Mars, in this case, was violence um, in our halls of learning, in education. Unfortunately, uh, yeah, unfor- unfortunately, it was against children and adults as well. Just in our schools, our education system. And, this has happened in concerts. It's just going on in our country. So basically, the war seems to be against the NRA, and the majority of the public is against having assault rifles. Like most civilized countries in the world, they don't have this kind of gun violence. They don't have people mowing down their children in schools or at concerts. And so, the NRA are just in the pockets of the lobbyists, and they're so politically entwined in this country. So Pluto and Saturn represent would represent the corruption and some of these systems in place that need to be toppled down. And how many last straws do we need? I listened to the speech, Trump's condolences, and they just sound hollow, like every other one, Um, so the hope of this is that the people represented by Aquarius, the humanitarian will of the people, which is like, they were showing polls on the news, and, over 75% of Americans on both sides, Democrats, Republicans, whatever, are against this, against assault rifles, and, but, the, Congress and the government is not on our side when it comes to this. They are not. So the will of the people, these people will have been. I just don't know how long it's going to take, though. I don't know how long this will take, but there's definitely a call to action. Our whole country is grieving right now. There's a call to action. It happened on Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday of all days. It's not just this one though. It's all of the tragedies that have happened in our country as a result of assault rifles. I mean, it's just like people are really, really waking up. I don't know that the government is going to wake up, but the people represented by Aquarius, there's a eclipse in Aquarius, and it's a it's opposed to Leo. Um, yeah. Anyway, which represents children. Leo children. Anyway, I'm not doing a chart right now, but just in a general way, Mercury, the planet of communication. The people are really expressing our views, especially on the news all over the country. People are really expressing their views and their grief. And the sun, moon, it's like the will of the people against the government when it comes to this violence. I mean, it, it has to be safe to send your children to schools. What, is everyone going to have to homeschool their kid? That's pretty much what it's coming down to. And with everything in Aquarius and Pisces, people are seeking a solution, especially a spiritual solution. It's like we know in our hearts that what needs to be done, and it's like a call to action. People are talking about taking action individually, collectively, whatever it takes to topple down these structures. Whether they're so entwined in a mesh, I'm sure. It has nothing to do with our Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, but we don't need assault rifles in this country. You don't see Japan mowing down their kids in school, or any other country. And so with everything in the age of Aquarius, and Neptune and Pisces, we're going to bring about a new spirituality and a new way of looking. We're just going to rise together as a group. Aquarius, right? A group, and Pisces is just spirituality, wanting things to change, bringing about change through whether it's passive resistance or, Martin Luther King had Venus in Pisces. A lot of our world saviors had, Venus and, planets in Pisces. So, but Pluto is just really wreaking destruction, in the White House. Every day there's just new corruption, new things, it's just like people are becoming numb and they're beginning to tune this out. However, not these school shootings. It's like we've just heard enough hollow words. So everyone is just, I believe, going to rise up, speak their piece, and get these people out, but it may take some time. That's the sad part. It may take some time because it appears to be so firmly entrenched in our political system, this whole NRA, and it's not just a Republican-Democrat issue. I mean, the will of the people on both sides, they want their children safe, I believe people will be pulling their kids out of schools, to educate them in a safe environment. I was going to say especially high schools, but it's not just high schools, it's happening at concerts, it's happening at, grade school, grade schools, and it's not just the checking them for mental illness, it's the gun, people. It's the gun. It's the assault rifles that every other country doesn't have this this high murder rate that we do, and it's just people are really waking up to the violence, the extreme violence, political corruption in this country, and represented by Pluto and Saturn up in Capricorn, and we're really coming to terms with it. And people are going to rise together as a group and seek a spiritual solution, which is to ban assault rifles in this country. And I believe that people will do whatever it takes to bring this about. and hopefully it'll be done quickly. Um, all the thoughts and prayers in the world aren't going to help if we don't get to the source of this problem, get to the source of the problem. Yeah, and I certainly don't want to, do a chart on the U.S. or anything because, the whole country is grieving, and especially the victims and the people in Florida, and everyone who, regardless if you have a child or not, it's just shock. Everybody's just in shock. So I just wanted to share a little bit of hope that, from what I've heard just on the news this morning, that people are just have had enough. A lot of the parents of children, have lobbied, and but I really feel like this is the time, and that's not to undermine any other parent who has lost a child tragically through this, but I believe that this is the time that people are really going to just topple these structures one way or another. I don't know, but I really don't believe people are going to put up with this anymore. And everyone's hopes and prayers and sympathies are with Florida and with everyone in the U.S. who's very, very sad from this. So we're going to change it. We are going to change these laws. Everyone is lighting up Facebook, Twitter. We're going to bring light into this darkness, and we're going to change this. We are going to change this. So that's the hope. So everybody, hopefully will do your part, and it could be the smallest little action, but step up, do your part, and we can change this. And let's start with assault rifles in our country so our children can be safe and people can be safe. Because it's senseless and it's violent, and we need to change. We need to change. Definitely need to change. And whatever it takes, we have to do it. So just do one little thing, educate one little person. Forget politics, forget all that bullshit. And, there's so many parents that have lost their children that have been lobbyists, and they have, it's like people have just turned a blind eye to them. And it's almost like there's this great awakening all of a sudden. It's like everyone's just numb. It's just numb. And so I urge everyone to just do your part, especially people who live in the U.S., do your part to save our children and to save, people, adults, teachers, coaches, just people, this is not like, I almost said Colombia, or like, this is not like drug lords. This is not that, this is supposed to be like a civilized country, and this is the way our government is portraying itself. This is the way school systems are represented. It's just wrong. It's just very, very wrong, and it needs to be changed, and it needs to be changed now, and the people need to speak up. Light up Twitter, light up Facebook, light up YouTube, whatever it takes, but God save our country. Anyway, thank you for listening. Okay, bye.